We go now to Blackball on the west coast, where the public service for the Pike River Mine disaster is about to get underway. It is 8 years to the day since the mine exploded, killing 29 men. The commemorations follow last week's announcement that a manned re-entry of the mine drift will go ahead in a bid to search for remains and clues as to what caused the explosion. Conan Young is in Blackball and joins me now. Conan, what's been happening there today?
Well, look, the families just on their way back actually from the portal, the main entrance to the mine. There was a service there, a private service just for the families at 3:44 this afternoon. That's the exact time that the explosion happened 8 years ago today. A roll call of the 29 men was called out. Each family member actually calling out the name of their loved one there. At 5:30, so very shortly, a public service is due to take place, and that'll involve family members putting a flower in a water wheel, flower for each of the men that were lost. And then after that public service, I'll be coming back here to where I am at the Blackball Hilton pub, and there'll be a few drinks and a chance for everybody to catch up.
I imagine that 8 years on, things are still pretty raw and emotional for many of these families.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I talked to Sonia Rockhouse, along with Osborne, has really become sort of the face of the families through the past 8 years. She told me that she still cries most days about the loss of her son Ben in that terrible disaster. And she said actually 8 years on, she's starting to forget what her son sounded like. She said there is actually a recording of her son's voice, but that was made just before the disaster, but she said she still hasn't been able to bring herself to actually listen to that. So yeah, really, I guess, on anniversaries, things like this, all of those emotions sort of come to the surface, but still really raw for a lot of people.
And today, what has been the reaction to the suggestion from Andrew Little that there is consideration being given to a formal, an official apology to the families for the way they were treated in the safety failures at Pike River? What do the families think of that?
Yeah, it's quite interesting actually. Carol Rose, who lost her son in the mine, she said that actually an apology coming from Andrew Little might sound a little bit hollow, given that he wasn't responsible for what the families have put through over the past 8 years, the lack of people being held to account, the fact that this disaster happened in the first place, the many failures that were documented during the Royal Commission of Pike River Management and the Mines Inspectorate at the time. She said that if she'd actually prefer to see the apology come from Sir John Key, who did make that promise to families to do everything he could to get back down that mine to recover their loved ones. And if not John Key, then she said Simon Bridges, is the current leader of the National Party, should be making that apology, which is really interesting.
Now, the police, we know we've covered this extensively on Checkpoint. The police have yet to decide if they're going to re-enter the mine as part of the forensic examination. The proposal is that they have two teams that go underground as part of the recovery. But what has Bernie Monk been telling you today about his view on the police involvement?
Yeah, look, it's got to be said that the police are still deciding whether or not they will go underground from a health and safety point of view. Obviously, the safety assessment has been done by the Pike River Recovery Agency, but policemen told me today that police need to do basically due diligence and work out if it's safe for their staff to go under. But interestingly, Bernie Monk told me today that there is a real lack of trust between many of the families, including himself, and the police. This is a lot to do with the fact that, as Bernie Monk said, that they're pleas for an investigation into all of this. He have fallen on deaf ears when it comes to the police up until now. And he was saying that, there is a lack of trust. He said if the police do go underground as part of a forensic team, trying to work out how or what caused this explosion, that he'd want to see everything they did being recorded on video, just to provide that transparency. He said they weren't worried that police would tamper with evidence to try to cover anything up, but he said just to provide that full transparency. I then asked him if he would prefer it if a police team that was not involved in the original attempt to get into the mine back in 2010, if he preferred if those any of those police officers were not involved this time around, a fresh team involved this time, and he said yes, he would prefer that, noting of course that Detective Superintendent Peter Reid, who was involved in that initial recovery effort, that he is involved this time around as well. So, yeah, some interesting points there. A decision from police, I understand, is expected of whether or not they will go into the mine in early December. Tomorrow, families are meeting with police on another issue. This is just to be briefed by the police on what the police investigation would look like from a forensic point of view, the victim identification processes if any remains are found.
Thank you so much. That is Conan Young, who is in Blackball, and as he said, there is a public memorial about to get underway for the families of the men who were killed in the Pike River disaster, 29 men killed 8 years ago to the day. And discussing there, Bernie Monk, who is raised some concerns about the police involvement potentially in the gathering of forensic evidence.